in the middle of a forest. Her hands trembled as she held a map, neatly folded, perfectly printed, the kind of map that was supposed to lead somewhere important, but she was lost. She tried retracing her steps using this map, but nothing made sense. The trees didn't match the terrain. The trail markers were missing. The sun was setting, and she began to panic. She thought she had done everything right, but still, she felt completely, hopelessly lost every time she checked this map. Right before she screamed for help, an old man came out of nowhere, walked right by, not hurried, not anxious, just wandering. He glanced at her map and he said, "Oh, you're using my map." Shocked by his remarks, she said, "What do you mean your map?" He pointed to a small signature scribbled in the corner. It was his name. He wasn't angry, just amused. And he said, "I drew that map when I was younger, but these woods, they changed." And just like that, he walked away. She looked down again. Suddenly, it was obvious. The map didn't just lead to the wrong place. It led to his place, not the place that she was trying to go. That's what no one tells you. Most people aren't lost. They're just following paths that weren't meant for them. Why do you feel so behind in life? You scroll past strangers getting married, buying houses, building empires, posting milestones, and somehow, even their breakfast feels more put together than your entire existence. You start comparing. I should have finished school by now. I should have more money. I should be married. I should have kids. I should feel happy. But you don't. You feel late. You feel stuck. You feel like life moved forward without you. And now you're running to catch a train that no longer sees you standing there. But what if the problem isn't that you're behind? What if the problem is you've been measuring your life with someone else's ruler? Let's be honest. Most people aren't falling behind in reality. They're falling behind in comparison. You were never shown how to build your own timeline. You were handed your own timeline. Someone told you that you had to graduate college by 22, that you had to have your dream job by 25, be married by 30, kids before 35. And if your life didn't align with that, you internalized it as failure. But here's the truth. You don't feel behind because you're slow. You feel behind because no one ever taught you how to define success outside of milestones. Carl Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." That's hard to do when you've never been taught how to be yourself, only how to perform who you're supposed to be. A 2023 global study by LinkedIn found that 72% of professionals under 35 feel behind in their careers, relationships, or self-development. And the number one reported cause was watching others succeed faster. Not failing, not being lost, just comparison. The perception of falling behind is often louder than actual delay. The hardest truth is this: you don't feel behind because you're broken. You feel behind because you've been performing instead of becoming. You've been living in reaction to others instead of in alignment with yourself. You picked a college major to please your parents. You stayed in a relationship because it looked good online. You said yes to a job you hated because it paid well enough to silence your gut. And now you feel behind not because you're failing, but because you're exhausted from playing a role that was never yours, that you never wanted to play. You can't find your timing on someone else's timeline, and you'll never feel caught up until you stop running toward a version of life that doesn't even reflect who you are. So if you want to change, where do you start? Start by rejecting the idea that life is a race. Then ask yourself, whose definition of success am I chasing? Is it my dad's? My mom's? My grandparents? My friends? The internet's? Who is it? Write it out if you have to. Once you name that source, question the map. Then start building a new one. What does peace look like for you? What would a successful year feel like if nobody was watching? What kind of life would you build if you weren't trying to prove anything to anyone? Here's the truth. You're not late. You're just early to a life that finally belongs to you. Slow down. You're right on time.